What's up guys, it's another episode of Tuned Engines, and on today's episode I'm going to show you how you can do your own oil change for your car. Alright guys, let me go ahead and tell you why it's good that you do your own oil change. The first reason is that some inexpensive mechanic shops sometimes use the cheap motor oil. So by you doing your oil change, you can go ahead and put the best oil for your car so you can go ahead and run longer. The second reason why guys is that you get to know that the job is getting done right. And also you get to use some good oil so your car can run longer, and also you get to save a little bit more money. The last reason guys is that it's fun and you get to experience it so you can know how to do your own oil changes in the future. Okay guys, so this is all the stuff you're gonna need for today. So the first thing is you're gonna need to know what type of oil your car needs and also what type of oil filter. The next thing is having a ratchet set with sockets and also a breaker bar, so in case your oil drain plug is too hard to take out, you can just unscrew it and it'll give you more leverage. You also need to have some oil filter wrenches so you can take it off and make it easier for yourself. Some gloves so you don't get oil on your hands. A pick to take off grommets. I personally like this one that's at a 90-degree angle, but you can go ahead and use whichever one you want. You're also going to need some paper towels, a funnel for your oil, and also an oil catch can to put your old oil in. And this is all the stuff you need. Okay guys, so in order for you to lift up your car, the first thing you're going to need is a car jack that can handle the weight of your car. The next thing is some jack stands for safety, and also some blocks so you can go ahead and block off your wheels so your car doesn't go anywhere. Alright guys, so before we can go ahead and start the oil change, the first thing you have to do is know what type of oil your car takes. So in case you're not sure what type of oil your car takes, you can go ahead and check. And sometimes the fill cap tells you what type of oil it takes. This one being the Viscosity 5W30. If your car doesn't say it in your cap, you can go ahead and check your owner's manual. Alright guys, so in case your oil fill cap does not say what type of oil you need, you can go ahead and get your owner's manual. In this case, it's for a 2010 Suburban. You can go ahead and open it. And if you can see right here, it says that we need 5W30 for the oil. And this is like the dipstick where it's supposed to be. Alright guys, so now that you know what type of oil you need, we can go ahead and head down to the local auto shop to go get our oil, or you can go to Walmart. Alright guys, so we decided to go ahead and go to AutoZone so we can go get our oil. And as you can see guys, they have a bunch of different brands you can get and different types of oil. Okay guys, so the number I'm pointing to right now, 5W30, this is the weight or viscosity of the oil. Alright guys, so you can go ahead and get the type of weight you need for your car. Alright guys, so this oil is advanced full synthetic. That means that this oil change was going to last you between 5 to 10,000 miles. I personally like to change it every 5,000 miles in my car. Okay guys, so this oil, this is synthetic blend oil. That means that this is synthetic oil mixed with regular motor oil. This will only last you 5,000 miles. The one right next to it is just regular motor oil. You're gonna have to change it every 3,000 miles in your car. Also guys, remember that you can always go ahead and switch from regular motor oil to synthetic oil. But if your car only needs synthetic oil, never go down or never downgrade. Always use synthetic oil or else you can risk damaging your engine. Okay guys, let me go ahead and show you how you can get your oil filter now. Okay guys, you want to go ahead and find this catalog. It's always right next to the oil filter and air filters. But the only thing is you need to know what type of engine size you have so you can go ahead and find your oil filter. Alright guys, if you're having problems trying to find out what type of engine you have for your oil filter, you can go ahead and look right here and you'll see that right there it says 5.3. Sometimes I'll say it right here in the front. We'll have something on the hood right there. Alright guys, so now that you know what type of engine size you have, you can go ahead and open the book, and you need to know what type of year, make, and model your cars. So in our case, we have a Chevrolet 2010 Suburban, so we're going to go ahead and flip to the page where it says 2010. And you can see that right there says Suburban 1500, 5.3 liter engine, and right next to on the right are all the oil filters you can get. If you look at the top, these are the brands for the oil filters. I always like to go with Mobil 1, but you can choose whichever one you like. So all you do is follow the column down, and that's the number for your oil filter. Alright guys, so now that you know what type of oil filter you need, you can go ahead and look for it. In this case, ours is S160, and this is the oil filter we need right here. We're going to go with STP. And also guys, AutoZone is having a special right now on oil filters and oil, so you can go ahead and take advantage of that. Alright guys, so now you're ready to do an oil change. The first thing is you want to make sure that your car is on a level surface, so you can go ahead and jack it up. Alright guys, before you go ahead and do your oil change, you gotta make sure that your e-brake is on. So we're gonna go ahead and engage. The second thing to do guys is go ahead and locate your hood hatch. You can go ahead and pull it. And then most of the cars have a little lever you just push to the side. And you can pop up the hood. Alright guys, and also make sure that your car is not super hot. If you just got on driving, to make sure to let it sit for a little bit so it won't burn you. And I also like to take off the oil fill cap and raise the dipstick so it can make oil come out faster. And also guys, I always like to chalk off my wheel so I can make sure that the truck's not gonna slide or move forward whenever I'm racing it up. Okay guys, so now you're ready to lift up your car. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and slide your jack underneath the car and go ahead and find a frame. As you can see, we found the frame and our jack is right underneath this, so we're going to go ahead and start lifting it until we hit the frame. Alright guys, now that your car is lifted, you want to go ahead and put your jack stands for extra protection. So what you're going to do is put them underneath the frame and go ahead and drop down the car until it touches the jack stands. I also like to go ahead and put the jack so it can barely touch the frame for extra protection. So some cars are different and you won't be able to find the frame rail, but they have these things called pinch welds, and those are specifically designed so you can go ahead and put jack underneath and start lifting your car from there. Alright guys, so now that you have it high enough, you can see if you can find a frame rail, but if not, you can always put the jack stands on the pinch rail since they're designed to be lifting points for cars. Alright guys, so next thing you can do is go ahead and put on your gloves if you want to. I always like using gloves because oil is kind of hard to take off from your hands, and putting gloves on also helps you protect. Okay, so the next thing is go ahead and throw your oil catch can in there. Alright guys, so right now I'm underneath the car, and the next thing you want to do is go ahead and locate your oil drain plug. So most of the time, like, your drain plug is in the back of the car, but like right here, you can go ahead and locate it right there. This is the oil drain plug. Alright guys, so the way you want to do this is, like, if you want to take it off, you're going to go ahead and go lefty loosey. So it's going to go ahead and go this way. So it turns like that. Alright guys, so you can go ahead and put the socket. And if it's a little bit hard, like you can see, you can go ahead and put a breaker bar. Alright guys, so if you're having problems to take it off, this is where a breaker bar comes in hand. So you can just break it loose and then switch back to your ratchet. Alright guys, so right by now is when you will start bringing in your oil catch can. Alright guys, now you can start unscrewing your oil drain plug. As you can see, we got it all out and all the oil is draining. Alright guys, you want to go ahead and let it drain all the way out. You want all the bad oil to get out, or the used oil. So you're going to go ahead and let it drain out until there's barely any drops coming out. Alright guys, so now that all the old oil is out, I like to always get my drain plug and I like to get a paper towel and go ahead and clean it a little bit before I put it back. Guys, and also some drain plugs have washers, so go ahead and replace them so you won't get any oil leak. I also like to go ahead and clean around the threads of the oil drain plug. So now that we've taken out all the oil and we've cleaned around the oil drain plug, we want to go ahead and put the drain plug in, but go ahead and put it in by hand, because if you use a ratchet you might damage the threads, so it's always better to put in by hand. We tried all there. Alright guys, so now you want to go ahead and put the ratchet on and make sure that it's turning clockwise or to the right, so you can make sure you're tightening it. And also guys, whenever it's tight, you just want to give it one last pull because it only requires 20 foot-pounds of torque. So if you over torque it, you can damage the thread as well. And also guys, I always like to go ahead and clean after I'm done putting on the drain plug, so I know if I ever have an oil leak, I know where it's coming from, and also it makes the car look nicer from the bar. Alright guys, so next thing you want to do is locate your oil filter. Your oil filter is always going to be right next to your drain bolt most of the time, and it's going to be this thing right here. Okay guys, so some cars are different, like my Camaro, it has the oil filter on the top, but it works the same way. You want to unscrew it and then take out the old filter and replace it with the new one. And I'll go ahead and show you how to do it with this car as well. Okay guys, so you can go ahead and take off an oil filter like this in your car. You're going to need to get a ratchet and a socket and then go lefty loosey. And once it's on tight guys, you can just go ahead and take it off by hand all the way out. And then you're done taking it out. A little faster, a little faster. And also guys, some cars need some special sockets like these so you can take off the oil filter. So before you go ahead and do your oil change, make sure you do some research and see if you need any of these special tools. Alright guys, so when it comes to removing these type of oil filters, you can use one of these. So basically, like, you just grab the oil filter and like you just turn it like that. Or you can use one of these. I personally like using these because they're more easier to use, but since like right here,
We're gonna go ahead and use this one.
Oh guys, and it's lefty loosey to take off an oil filter. And as you can see, that's why I like using these, because sometimes they slip and it's a little bit hard under, especially on these Suburbans. So now that it's loose, we can go ahead and unscrew it. But be careful guys, because sometimes like oil falls off from these, and if it's hot, it'll burn your hand. So if it's ever dripping, just let it drip for a little bit, then start screwing it again. So I always like to put brand new oil on my new filter, so I won't run it dry whenever I start the engine. So you want to go ahead and fill up a little bit. So some oil filters are different guys, like the ones in the Camaro, those only you to fill them up with oil, only these canister filters. And what I like to do is get some of the excess oil and wipe it around the rim of the oil filter so I don't get any leaks or anything. And on these oil filters, all you have to do is take out the oil filter, just take it off by hand. And then you can go ahead and get your brand new oil filter and open the box and take out the new oil filter and the new grommet. Okay guys, so this is why I like using a pick, because it makes it really easy to go ahead and take off the old grommet from your oil canister. So you gotta do is go underneath it and just slide it up. Okay guys, so now you want to go ahead and get your new grommet and get some of leftover oil from the canister and coat your grommet with it. This will make sure you have a tight seal and prevent any leaks when you put it back on. So now you have your grommet ready to go guys. All you want to do is slide it over your canister, and your canister has like this indentation or groove that just lets the grommet sit in. As you can see, we went ahead and put it in the perfect location. And then guys, I like to wipe down all the leftover oil and then get my new oil filter, and all you have to do is pop it back in. So you just push it in and you're gonna hear a click, and that's it, it's ready to go. Okay guys, so before I'm gonna put the oil filter in, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it again. And this is oil filter for the Suburban, by the way. And now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start screwing it. You can start feeling whenever it starts grabbing the thread. So all you have to do is keep on spinning it, and once it starts catching, you're gonna feel it, and all you can do is turn it up. And also guys, these filters are also only hand tightened. So only tighten them as much as you can go with your hand and just leave it like that. That'll be perfect. Okay guys, so now that you've done all of that, you can go ahead and take off your jack stand and lower your car back down so you can go ahead and put new oil in your car. So this Suburban takes 6 quarts of 5W30. Always remember to put the right oil capacity in your car. So now you can go ahead and put the dipstick down. Next, go ahead and put your oil funnel for your oil. And now you can start filling up your car with the oil it needs. Okay, so now that you're done putting oil, you want to let it sit there for a little bit. Let it sit for like 10 seconds so all the oil can go down. Next thing you do is go ahead and get your dipstick and pull it out and just clean it. Don't even look at it.
Make some noise.
Hard time seeing, you can go ahead and flip it a little bit, and you can see where your oil level is at. So right here we're like all the way in full, so it's actually perfect. So now we can go ahead and put this back, take this off, and then go ahead and put our cap back. So now guys, you can go ahead and turn on your car for 10 seconds. You can let the oil run around and get to the oil filter, and also see if you need any more oil. So now we're gonna reset the oil life. Every car is different guys, so if you're having trouble, just look up the make and model of your car and it should be able to tell you. So I always like to put these on my window so I know when the next oil changes. So all you have to do is look at your odometer, and either at 3,000 miles, 5,000 miles, or 10,000 miles, depending on the oil you used and depending on the odometer you have. In my case, the next oil change for me is in my next 5,000 miles, so it's 195,000, and all I have to do now is peel back the white paper and go ahead and put it on my windshield. Alright guys, it's also good that you check your oil level once a week and like make sure you have enough oil, like right there, so that you don't run out, so you don't run your engine dry and damage it, because it'll get expensive quick. Alright guys, now since you're done here, you can go ahead and close the hood. And the last and final thing is to take your used oil to a local car store, so you can go ahead and dump it in one of their dump tanks, because you don't want this getting in your environment, because it can kill grass and harm animals. Alright guys, well that's it for this video of tuned engines. Hopefully now you can go ahead and do your own oil change. We went through the whole process, so now next time you want to do an oil change, you can go ahead and do it. Oh, and by the way, The next video will be a spark plug changing video. Alright guys, well that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.